afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for July 25, 2024. A little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call and all the rest tomorrow night at around 9:15 or so p.m. Eastern. We're going to cover some applications that are proving to be astronomically impactful on the well-being of the body. Basically, it's bottom line unprecedented. So, I've spent a lot of time interacting with them and talking with other people who have applied them, and now we've got some off-the-charts results of it, which is really important. How do we, any of us, access our power, right, of who and what we are? How do we plug in to the God, the pure consciousness of who we truly are? Right? Because we know we're not these bodies, or the name, or possessions, or anything. That's all temporary through our life experience. And that's what it is an experience. So, how do we really do that? How many of us really know how to do that? Not many. And what do you do to access it? Relax and become very still. Now, the word relax is interesting, okay? French word relax means repose. It's relaxation. And so in relaxation, most people have a hard time, difficult time, challenging time to really relax. I mean, just let go and just be and move into the body and relax into the body, lean into the body, be as still as a statue and focus on the breath. That's it. Relax and be still. Now, many of us are influenced, of course, by the material physical world. We've been programmed and conditioned. It's deeply embedded in us. So a lot of us are in a hurry. A lot of us are rushing through the life. A lot of us feel pressured, compelled by the ego mind to do this and do that and go over here and go over here. Got to get this done, got to get that done. And none of us are exempt because we've all experienced it more than once. So that's, and then when you shift gears, someone comes along and says, well, relax and be still. That's really not helping much, really, is it? To have them get some kind of clarity as to what the heck are you talking about. So when we go into these meditations and we find a comfortable position, right, where we're not going to be interrupted, distracted, or anything, and we get in this comfortable position and we begin to literally relax into the body. You feel yourself sink into your own body, all right? And as you're doing that, you're really still. You're not moving around and fidgeting and everything. You're just still. The stillness will be automatic when you relax into your body. And as you relax into the body, you'll feel it. You'll feel release. You'll feel energetic release, stress release, worry, all that stuff that we have in the material physical world through the ego mind. You'll feel it. You'll feel it leave. Okay? So that's a good thing. So as we feel that leaving, and then we start to focus at that point on our breath. And we breathe in like we naturally breathe, right? So you breathe in and you focus on the breath rising and falling. Coming in, going out. Coming in, going out. And on top of it, if you want, you can focus on the space between your heartbeat. That little space in there between, as the heart, dun dun, there's a space. This is to focus you and to have your attention on what? On stillness. Period. And how would one know that? How would you really know that that's happening? Well, you'll notice that you don't have worry, stress, and fear. It'll be gone in that moment, in that time. You'll notice that your mind chatter's gone. You'll notice that you feel a lot more at ease. And as being at ease, you say to yourself, this really feels good. Now, here's the interesting part is that, see, the ego mind does not care to have you do that because you're leaving it alone, right? So as insecure as it is, it gets very insecure about that, so it does what it can to entice you back in to its world of yesterday and tomorrow. Even at times when you're in the meditation, that tug will happen. But you'll automatically know that, and you'll say, there's no interest there for you to immerse yourself in ego mind. See, you're in the heart mind, and you got to remember that it's much more powerful than the ego mind. So there's no competition there really between your heart mind and your ego mind. There isn't any. The heart mind is much more powerful, and as you learn that, you begin to comprehend the fact that, okay, so how do you know you're in the heart mind? You know you're in the heart mind when you're at ease, when you've relaxed into the body. You can't do that in the ego mind. You can't, because it's always conjuring up different thoughts and directions and everything. That's the mind chatter. Remember, we've got over 60,000 thoughts that replay themselves every day. All the other people's thoughts on this planet. Where do you think? Why do you think that in certain situations we repeat things as a civilization? We do. So you notice that we repeat things. It might be a few thousand years later, but then we repeat it, or a few hundred years, and we repeat it. And what are we really doing? Okay? What are we doing? Do we really want to keep incarnating with really no basis or direction, just from scratch every single time? Does that make any sense? Why would we as gods enter physical forms? Okay, yeah, all right, you could say we're experiencing. So we go from life to life, and we experience that life. Okay, that's fine. But where are we going with that? Because we have the same construct, the same programming that we had the last life. Yeah, it's different parents, different situations, but it's still the same programming. Why would we keep doing that? We wouldn't. Well, how do you interrupt that? Right? By this meditation, by meditating. We're all discovering that we are a pure consciousness in a physical form. Right? When we leave the body ceases to operate. Can't function on its own. Can't. Sure, we take in energy. Where's the energy? The food. That's most of us. That's how there's breathers that take it in out of the atmosphere, but that's a rarity. But when you take in food, what do you take in the food for? What's it for? It's the energy. It's not the food. It's what the food contains. It's the energetic frequency of the food. So we eat the food and we feed the body. Now, what happens if you don't feed the body? It'll cease to operate. We know that. Pretty simple. So the God's in the body. Doesn't the God have the energy to sustain the body? Absolutely. Why isn't it doing that? Because we don't know that we're that. We don't know. Nor do we have the confidence, trust, and faith in ourselves in this universe to apply that. It's like one would say, well, I know that I'm the God in the body, the pure consciousness, right? And I know I'm an omnipotently supreme, powerful being that never dies. Well, you can say that on the surface till you're blue in the face. Well, then how come you haven't healed your body? See? There's the glitch. Because they really don't know who and what they are. Is it a negative? No. They just don't know who and what they are. Right? So, it's by choice, by any of us, it's a choice that we go within, we stay within. We discover the ego mind, we watch the ego mind, we learn from the ego mind, then we master the ego mind. Then, through the heart mind, we are overseeing the ego mind. And then we discover and commune all the time and embrace the gods that we are within these bodies. Then, at that point, you're in total freedom. Okay? You know that you can have anything you want. Period. That's enough said with that. You see, from the different, it's turned around right now on this planet. It is. It's the opposite of things. That's our natural state of being. We exist in an unnatural state of being. Our species on this planet exists in an unnatural state of being. Why do you think it's so disruptive? You know, where's the peace? Where's the gratitude? Where is that? And by us discovering that, because we want to, not because we have to, but because we choose we want to discover that. We want to discover who and what we are. So we begin to do that. And is it easy peasy? Oh, for some of us, no. You know, for some it's gut-wrenching because you're used to an unnatural state of being. The majority of us on this planet are used to an unnatural state of being. So for most of us, this is the way it is. This is life. Now, when we choose to discover the opposite of that, is that I am the God. I am the kingdom of God. I am the heaven. You say this through the heart-mind. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're discovering this for yourself. You're source creator. So when you do this, and you begin to discover this, then you start to understand. So wait a minute here. My natural state of being is peace. Not war, not conflict, not irritation, anger. It's peace. My natural state of being is love, happiness, joy, bliss. I am an omnipotently powerful being in this body. I can heal this body on a second-to-second basis whenever I need to. I can stay youthful for as long as I choose to in this body. That's where all this is going. Some sooner, some later. But all in all, that's where we're heading. And this isn't a race. I say that all the time because I think some people think it's some kind of race. You're going to get a big prize if they beat others to it, which is absolutely ego mind all through and through. It's not heart mind. So when we're looking at things, we wonder, okay, what's my natural state of being? Being the God that you are in that body, the pure consciousness. But see, as we've been programmed on this planet in this now moment, to date, it's the opposite. Instead of embracing life, we fight life. Instead of loving ourselves and everything else and everyone else, we fight it. We protect ourselves from it. What are we protecting ourselves from? The ego. We're protecting our egos. We're afraid to get hurt. We're afraid to be disappointed. We're afraid to be manipulated. We're afraid to be used. We're afraid of love. We're afraid of happiness. We're afraid of fear. We're afraid, we're afraid, we're afraid. And that's the majority of the population. What is the biggest thing that we're afraid of? The unknown. We're afraid of the unknown. Why are we afraid? Because we don't know. That's why it's called the unknown. You sit there and we go, okay, why would I fear this? See, some of us begin to sit down with these things. And we say, okay, why do I have this fear with you? You're the fear. What's this about? I want to know what this is about. You don't really care to carry it, do you? Month after month, year after year, this fear that's there bubbles up every now and then it kind of fades away and it's back. You want to know. You just want to know. I want to know why these fears are here. Why I have these fears. And you'll be blown away on what happens. Someone might say, I'm afraid of the water. Okay? You say, what are you afraid of? Well, when I look at that water, I can't see the bottom. Okay? And I don't know what's going to happen if I get in that water. And there's people like this. Right? And I don't know how to swim. Because they've been afraid of the water for so long, they don't get in it and they don't swim. So there's another fear that because they did not learn how to swim and they didn't get in the water, and they've been afraid of getting in the water for their whole lives, then they can't swim, they don't want to get in the water, they fear that because they think they're going to drown and they think that something in the water is going to harm them. You see how all that builds? Right? Someone could have told them something when they were a young child and said, yeah, there's a lot of monsters lurking in that water. Now that may sound strange to an adult, but I'm going to tell you something. As a kid, we take that with us to adulthood. And it's there. Okay? It's where it's at. That's where it is. You know that some adults are afraid of the dark? No, they're not going to come out and tell people that. But they're afraid of the dark. Why? Well, because if you ever been, say you're asleep, right? It's at night, you've gone to bed. And you hear something. Wakes you up, right? Boom, you're awake. And you kind of heard it, but you didn't register it, and then you say to yourself, what was that? Now you're the only one in that area, right? There might be someone else there, but you say, what was that? And you hear it again, and you go, what the heck is that? And what usually happens is, what do you think happens? Fear comes in. What's the fear? The fear is that here's where the fear is at. You are worried that you're going to be harmed. That's the fear. Right? Now, some of us, I remember years and years ago, with my first wife, real young, we were in our, I was 21, she was 19, and we're in this house. It's an old 3-story house. And it was early morning. It was around the holidays. Okay, it wasn't quite Christmas yet. And we're up in what used to be an attic. Remember those old houses? And then they were you could touch the house next to you with your arm because they were built so close to each other. You can see everybody doing everything in the house next to you. So you're up in the attic that's converted into a master bedroom. And so you hear this noise, and so my wife says, what is that noise? And I said, what do you mean, what's that noise? I said, listen, I heard this kind of like tampering, it sounded like. It's like somebody was trying to get in the front door. So she gets behind me, we start to go down the stairs. There's 3 flights of stairs. There's a foyer, and you walk, those old houses they built on a little covey foyer type thing, and you come in the door, and there's a mail slot there where the mailman would put the mail in, and would come in there and not land on the floor. So you get down there, and you're just frightened as all get out. Because you start, the ego mind starts to conjure up things, and it says, there's some, and it absolutely sounded like someone was rustling around in the living room. Really did. I mean, you would absolutely think that someone was rustling around in the living room. Right? So what do? You call 911. And so the police, they're there on the spot. This is when the police were there, lickety-split. So they're in the perimeter. We're on a corner lot, and they're in the neighborhood. We're in a neighborhood off of the main drag. And so they've got a squad car in front of the house. They've got a squad car at the back, and they're walking around with flashlights on the grounds. Okay. So the officer says, let me in. And so the officer comes in. Do you know what it was? I'm sure you could all picture this on how you responded to it. But the police officer said it was the newspaper boy putting the Sunday paper in the slot, trying to get it in there so it came and landed on the floor. And it was making a lot of noise, and that's exactly what it sounded like. That's what it was. You go, oh, that's what that noise was. You see how we interpret things? And the officer said, you know what? I've done the same thing. I thought it was a burglar coming in the house and whatever, and I come to find out it was the paper boy putting the paper in the slot. And Sunday papers were really thick. They had a lot of flyers in them and everything. I know, I was a paper boy. So and then you try to get it in there, and sometimes it's hard as heck because the opening's not as wide as you need it to be, so you've got to jury-rig the paper without ripping it and get it in there. So that's what it ended up being. You can see how our ego mind creates situations of fear that we embrace. And it's like, that's what it is. I know that's what it is. So it's no different in these lives that we're in. The ego mind sends in these thoughts, okay? It's unknown, we don't know. And the only reason we experience fear is because we're afraid of being harmed. That's it. You're afraid of, now, it doesn't necessarily mean physical. It could be emotional, right? It could be a lot of different harms. But this is what we fear. What motivates, all right, you're in combat. And you're shooting at other beings, other humans. Now a couple of your buddies are caught up in a firefight. You're in the rear, and you're the only one that can draw fire and have them get out of that firefight because they're outnumbered 10-1. They're going to be gone. They'll be done. Toast, Swiss cheese. So what do? Well, you know that if you do this, that you'll save their lives. But you don't know if you're going to live. Now picture that, okay? At first you are scared out of your wits. You're sitting there going, yeah, but they're in harm's way, and I gotta figure out how to help them and keep myself in the body. At first the fear grips you and you can't move. You can't, and you hear the fire, and you hear a firefight going on, you hear the yelling and screaming, okay? And you sit there and you go, I gotta do this. I've just got to do it. I can't just sit here and have them be harmed. So what do? All of a sudden, you switch from fear to courage, and the fear is obliterated. It's gone. Your adrenaline gets pumped up, and you go for it. You really don't care. You're not concerned about being harmed. All you care about is saving them. That's it. That's all you care. It's all that's on your mind. Saving them. You're not worried about the bullets flying, whizzing, because you can hear them. They whiz, and all you can do is you sit there and go, I got to save them. And you save them. You save them. And you don't get nicked or anything, or you don't get hit in the gut with a bullet, or you save them. You get them out of there. They pull back, and they're elated. You look at their eyes and you look at their breathing, and they're just they're freaked out that they were saved. So we call that a hero. Now, I believe we're all heroes. I believe in different ways we're all heroes to literally enter these bodies and live these lives. We're heroes. We've got all that we need, but we don't know that we have that. We don't know that we have everything we need, do we? We look at the physical material world, and what do you say? Well, you need money, right? You need money. You need food, water. You need shelter, clothing. Those are the staples, the necessities in this life. So that's what you do. You go out and you manifest that. No, wait, what do you mean? Well, you manifest the job. You may not know you manifest it, but you do. You manifest your dwelling. You manifest everything that you experience, you're creating it. It doesn't mean that you're totally consciously aware of it. Most aren't. They believe, because of their programming, that something other than them is doing it. And every one of us are doing it. And every one of us are a hero. Because we go through this every day, we shift from fear to courage every single day. We do. And none of us are exempt from it. I don't care how macho one thinks they are or presents themselves. It doesn't matter. All of it. We are heroes in the truest sense of the word because we're living this life with very minimal memory. That's huge. And every moment, we could end up having to leave these bodies. At any moment. I don't care if you're 10. I just saw where a 12-year-old boy dropped dead, perfectly healthy. What do you think happened? Vaccine. Now, do we think about that? That's kind of a... Do we focus on that? A lot of us don't care to, right? But you embrace it, and you understand that, which then you exude gratitude. The first thing in the morning when you're kind of in and out, you kind of open your eyes, and then the first thing before that mind starts turbo firing, I put my hands over my heart. Right? I'm on my back, put my hands over my heart, and I say, thank you, 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 thank you for this moment that I am in. Thank you for this day. Sets the frequency right off the bat. Every time. What does that do? It puts you in the now. Right away. Right away it puts you in the now. I verbalize this to myself. I mean, outwise. I speak it, the frequency. I don't just think it. I don't just feel it. I do all that, yeah, but I also verbally state it. It sets the state. See, before your ego mind and all those thoughts come flooding in, you do that, and it circumvents that effect, because then you're not going in tomorrow. You're not going in yesterday, because this is what we do every time we wake up. We're going into tomorrow. We haven't even started the day, and we're into tomorrow, or next month, or next year. This is how we begin to master things in our lives. Mastering your life, knowing these things, having the awareness, embracing the God that you are, loving you deeply and eternally, being in peace, discovering that all you've ever desired or wanted is within you, discovering that you are the creator, that you are the God, the kingdom of God, the heaven. Then you begin to understand what the ego mind's purpose is and what your thoughts are. and you begin to master them both. I join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, focused on your breath rising and falling. You know you're an awakening being when in the midst of chaos and suffering, you are completely at ease. To arrive at the divine destination, sometimes, anytime choose. Try for about 30 minutes of meditation on a vast space of nothingness all around you. Do this in complete silence. Just imagine that you are somewhere way out in the universe, and for billions of miles in all directions, there is emptiness. Put on an eye mask and earplugs, if necessary, so you don't see or hear anything. This spacious space is always available inside every one of us. And if you truly want to awaken the spiritual experience in your life, I invite you to dive into this spacious, silent place as long as you can. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. And we will return here Friday, July 26, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on out there or in here. Open your heart. Allow the magic to flow in.